Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, some major news coming out of NDSU today. We'll break down what we know so far. And we take a look at some national news, including a major tornado that claimed the lives of many. And cleanup is still underway from the snowfall that we recently saw throughout the valley. We'll take a look at current conditions. All these stories and more. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us here on Valley News Live at 10. I'm Zoe Jones. We start off our show with some breaking news from earlier this afternoon. NDSU announced that football head coach Matt Entz will be leaving after the postseason. We have Valley News Live sports reporter Jack Wallace in studio to break down what this means. Jack?
Thanks, Zoe. North Dakota State Athletics confirmed earlier today that Matt Entz is indeed leaving the Bison after this FCS postseason for a job with the USC Trojans out west, the current Pac-12 team that's on the move to the Big Ten next season. Entz joins Lincoln Riley's crew with a title of assistant head coach for the defense and linebackers coach. A little bit twofold. He was defensive coordinator before his head coaching job here at NDSU. But that new hire is much needed out in Cali. USC finishing with over 50 touchdowns and over 430 yards allowed per game last season, one of the worst marks in FBS play. Now, NDSU has their weekly press conference tomorrow afternoon, so we're going to have more updates on both the move and the upcoming semifinal game that's on Saturday against Montana. All that coming up tomorrow evening at 6 and 10. Zoe, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. Like you just said, we'll have more coverage on this story tomorrow on Valley News Live at 6. Switching gears, it's still cold out there, but the roads appear to be getting a little bit better. Let's check in with First Alert Storm Team Shelby Ebertowski for a look at our current conditions. Shelby?
Well, Zoe, not only do we have some leftover blowing snow, but we also have some breezier winds and some dense fog advisories. Now, taking a look at the valley right now, we have dense fog advisories issued until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Now, this does include areas just to the west of that I-29 corridor, including areas like Grand Forks here in Fargo, Crookston, and even other areas like Stutsman County and Ramsey because of some visibility issues. Now, right now we have half a mile in Grand Forks, and even taking a closer look up in Grafton, you have just over a quarter of a mile, just half a mile in Cavalier County, and even in the Southern Valley, we have 0 miles of visibility over in Gwinner, 1.5 miles in Oaks, and this is a look at up in Drayton about how that visibility and those roads are still comparing to what we saw the last weekend with all of that rain and snow. Now, this is still, we're having some tricky travel, I should say. Now, we are starting to see those roads in northwestern Minnesota finally starting to be normal. Earlier today, they were still partly covered. We do still have some partly covered roads in northeastern part of North Dakota. Still with some completely covered roads, though, near that Highway 200, near that Mayville exit area. Now, in the Southern Valley, we still have some covered roads stretching down through Valley City, but otherwise smooth sailing for the rest of us in the Southern Valley, still with above average snowfall so far this season at the National Weather Service here in Grand Forks. Over a foot of snow already, and our average to date is just around that 10 inches. Now, here in Fargo, we are still very much under our average snowfall this time of year, but Zoe, we don't have any snowfall in the forecast, but we do have some 40s, and I'll talk about that here coming up in a few moments.
All right, thank you, Shelby. One man has been arrested with intent to deliver charges after a traffic stop in West Fargo. According to officials, on Sunday, December 10th, North Dakota Highway Patrol troopers stopped a Ford Taurus for a window tint violation in West Fargo. The driver, an 18-year-old male, was identified as Damian Kane Torres of Fargo. He showed signs of impairment and was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs. Torres then resisted arrest. A probable cause search of Torres' vehicle resulted in finding narcotics to include marijuana, cocaine, drug paraphernalia, and a Glock firearm. Torres was then arrested and charged with the following: felony possession with intent to deliver marijuana, felony possession with intent to deliver cocaine, a misdemeanor driving under the influence of drugs, and a misdemeanor resisting arrest. Also, a reminder that funeral arrangements have been made for the Mercer County deputy that was killed this past week in a high-speed chase. Funeral services for fallen Deputy Paul Martin are set for 1 o'clock on Wednesday at Beulah High School. The doors will open at 11:30 a.m. and a short procession will follow the service. We'll have details on that route coming soon. Due to limited seating, the funeral will be live streamed. We plan to have that for you right here on Valley News Live. Burial services will be held at the North Dakota Veterans Cemetery in Mandan at a later date. Officers were chasing Ian Kramer on Wednesday. That's the chase that is said to have reached speeds of more than 100 miles per hour, and it ended when Kramer crashed into a Mercer County Patrol vehicle, which killed Deputy Martin. Looking on a national level, former President Donald Trump says he will not testify Monday in his civil fraud trial in New York City. Trump was expected to testify in his own defense after prosecutors questioned him just last month. But the former president posted a message on his Truth Social account that he will not testify. Trump then went on to attack the attorney general's case and the judge overseeing the trial. New York's AG Letitia James is seeking $250 million in damages and wants to bar Trump from doing business in the state. The judge already found Trump guilty of inflating the values of his properties so he could obtain more favorable loan and insurance rates. The trial will resume on Tuesday with the defense presenting more witnesses, and closing arguments are set to take place on January 11th. A severe weather outbreak on Saturday has caused at least 25 preliminary tornado reports across 5 states. A search and rescue operation is now underway in Tennessee after a tornado caused extensive damage and killed at least 3 people, including a child. Now, that same system will bring more severe thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, strong winds, and snow to portions of a dozen eastern U.S. states until Monday. Rick Damagella has the latest.
We just got hit with a tornado I saw last minute. Oh my gosh, everything's gone.
Residents in Clarksville, Tennessee are surveying damage today after a tornado ripped through their Saturday evening.
Walls bursted, the windows bursted, everything just like exploded.
One of the neighbors came out and said, "Guys, we've got to go."
At least 3 people died, including a child, after a tornado touched down, and crews are searching for survivors.
In addition to known fatalities and injuries, first responders are still working across the county to get to some hard-to-reach areas.
Cars were left tossed on roofs as downed trees and debris littered roads. Winds of over 100 miles per hour hit Kentucky and tore roofs and walls from multiple buildings.
The next thing I know, all you hear is stuff started flying, glass was breaking.
At least 5 states across the South reported tornadoes on Saturday, and more than 25,000 people remain without power in the Nashville area. That same system is set to hit the eastern U.S. on Sunday and Monday.
This is what the threat looks like. You see this yellow here for the eastern Carolinas, Wilmington down to Charleston, and then this other pocket on the Florida Panhandle. That's where a few more tornadoes are likely as we go through the day today.
Meanwhile, rain will change over to wet snow for portions of the interior Northeast on Sunday night and continue through Monday. I'm Rick Damagella reporting.
Looking overseas, black smoke billowed over Khan Yunis today as Israel pushed into the heart of the main city in the southern Gaza Strip. After weeks of fighting concentrated in the north, Israel launched its ground offense in the south this week with a storm of Khan Yunis, which is sheltering hundreds of thousands of civilians who fled other parts of the enclave. With combat now underway along nearly the entire length of the Gaza Strip, international aid organizations say the enclave's 2.3 million people have been left with nowhere to hide. During an emergency meeting on Sunday, World Health Organization's chief said Gaza's health system is, quote, on its knees and collapsing.
1.9 million people have been displaced, almost the entire population of the Gaza Strip, and are looking for shelter anywhere they can find it. But nowhere and no one is safe in Gaza.
To stay in the loop with all the news you need, be sure to download the VNL News app. You can get push alerts, updates to stories, and more. You can download and use it for free. Just search VNL News in the App Store today. Looking back on a local level, it's been 1 week since a service dog in Fargo went missing. The other night, we spoke with the owner, Jason Larkin, about his 3-year-old pup, Ruby. She ran out of her yard on Sunday morning and was last spotted on Monday afternoon near Horace. Now, there have been some posts going around on Facebook this weekend where people believe that Ruby has been spotted here in town or in Detroit Lakes, but Jason has confirmed that that is not Ruby. Ruby helps Jason with his daily needs, and without her there, the family says it's been tough on them. If anyone has any information on Ruby's whereabouts, you can call the number on your screen. Coming up this week in Fargo, more specifically on Monday, the Fargo City Commission will be presented with the 2024-2027 Capital Improvement Plan. They will look at the changes that were made and will be voting on it to see if it's going to be approved. One of the main topics that's grabbed people's attentions is the proposed 20% increase. These caps would specifically impact 4 neighborhoods in the coming years. We have all the details on the proposal on our website, valleynewslive.com, and we'll be sure to bring updates after the vote tomorrow. Also tomorrow, tickets go on sale for the public for the professional rodeo at the Fargo Dome. The rodeo will return to the Fargo Dome on Friday, March 22nd and Saturday, March 23rd at 7:30 p.m. each night. You can buy your tickets online through Ticketmaster or at the Fargo Dome itself. And if you're looking for something free and fun this week, you are in luck, as this week there will be 5 days of free concerts at the Plains Art Museum. The music starts at noon every day. We have the list of who will be playing and what days on your screen now in case you'd like to stop by.
Not only was yesterday a snowy day, it was also a breezier day. We had gusts up to 59 miles an hour in Fargo, 62 up in Grand Forks. But over the next couple hours, we're still going to see some breezier winds with that fog continuing to increase for most of us in the valley. But don't go anywhere because that fog is still going to stick around tomorrow, and I'll have your full forecast on when that is exactly going to exit coming up next.